Hi, Jeremy Ryan Slate. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Command Your Brand, the host of the Create Your Own Life podcast. And in this video, I'm going to go over the top podcast audio and video setup for 2023. I've been doing this since 2014. I've tried so many different setups, and I'm going to go through with you guys here what's been working for me. I've tried a bunch of stuff, tried a bunch of other stuff I didn't like. I'm still looking at doing a different camera in the future, but right now I think this setup is fine. And I guess I'll have an update when and if I change cameras. I'm looking at the Sony ZV-10E, I think is what it is. I've had that recommended by a bunch of different YouTubers, so that's going to be something I try. But this is the setup I'm using right now, and it creates a pretty consistent video, which has been great. So I'm going to go over with you what's been working for me. So first thing, I'm going to go over some softwares with you. The first is actually what this video is being recorded on. And I've tried so many different softwares. I'm just not a big fan of Zoom. It's great for company meetings, but for recording stuff, it's just not as good because it does turn down the audio and video quality just enough. I find lighting in it, even in HD video, to be a real pain in the butt because it kind of over-exaggerates light, which I don't really like. This software is called Riverside FM, and as I mentioned, that's actually what this video is being recorded on. And the cool thing about this software, number one, you do need to use it in Chrome. But number two, it records on the guest side and the host side individually and then uploads to the cloud rather than recording through internet, which is what Zoom and other softwares do. There's a few different softwares out there. There's Squadcast, there's Zencaster. I've been using Riverside for about 2 years, and comparatively, it's been good for me. I haven't went back and tried the others since they've had their upgrades, but I have tried all of them before I've ended up here. It's been pretty stable, pretty good, and I've been pretty happy with that. Another thing that I use for my camera, and this is a MacBook only app, so for those of you out there on PC, I'm sorry. I haven't done it on PC, so I don't have a solution for you, but this is something called Webcam Settings, and this is actually, you buy it in the App Store. It's like, here, $7.99, and I'm going to show you here in the drop-down. First of all, you can see all these different profiles I have set up for different options depending on lighting, what I'm recording, what's happening. Open up the panel here, and you can see I can change all sorts of different features: exposure time, gain, brightness, contrast. Can even change the zoom. So this is actually zoomed in a little bit. I have a stand-up desk down here, which you can't see, and this is kind of helping with that. So this does quite a bit to get a lot more out of this camera, because out of the box, I really don't like how this camera looks. And it really doesn't give us a true example of what I'd like to see on video. So this really lets me get kind of a darker shade image, which is something I like and is pretty successful. The other thing that I use here as well is this is called Crisp, and the website is crisp.ai, Crisp with a K. And this is a background sound filter. Their first version, I think I had bought in for like a lifetime price. They'd had like some special offer and they were launching it back in 2019, and it just wasn't very good. Then about a year and a half ago, they had an update, and it records in high fidelity, and it's been amazing. I'm actually using it on this conversation now. So what this does is I've had my daughter crying. I've had some people ringing the doorbell. I've had a fan turn on, and this prevents all those things from ending up in your interview. There is also an option to do the same thing on your speaker as well. I have found that it slows down recording quality, so I tend not to use it. But Riverside, as I mentioned, it has the option to actually filter your guest too if your guest is having background noise. It's not as good as Crisp, but at least kind of helps you with that. So those are a few software things I like to use. Riverside FM for recording, Webcam Settings for customizing my camera, and Crisp.ai for sound. These are the three apps I work with no matter what. All right, so those are some apps. Now let's go over some equipment. This microphone here I've been using for about a year and a half, and this is a Shure SM7B. It's pretty much the standard of the recording industry. It's one of the best microphones you can get. Now the thing I will tell you is this microphone, it tends to pick up a lot of background noise and be low in terms of the sound it picks up. Now there's something you can do for that, and I'm going to show you that piece here if I can make it over here. These are the headphones I use too, which I'm just not wearing right now. They're just Tascam headphones. Any kind of studio headphones will work. This guy here is called a cloud lifter. So what a cloud lifter does is it adds extra decibels to this microphone. So it means I don't have to have the sensitivity turned up as high so it doesn't pick up that background noise. And it allows you to have more richness and more naturalness to your voice. The microphone is running through, this is a Focusrite 2i2, the 3rd generation. And this is an interface because this is a XLR wire that the microphone's running into. It's a standard for recording, you get better recording, but XLRs don't plug directly into your computer because they don't have the same signal. So this allows you from a USB wire, it is a Type-C, to plug right into your computer. But this allows me to do different sorts of things for my voice, and it's a pretty easy piece to use. It travels well as well. Now I'm going to go through some things with my lighting setup here in the space I'm actually in. So the room I'm in now, I went through several different ways that I've done my podcast. When I first started in 2014, it was in the dining room of a house that I was renting at the time. We've come a long way since that time, since now we bought this home a couple years ago, and I actually ended up building a studio in the basement, which is where I am right now, which is, my steps are actually right there. I found the most useless place in my house, and I built a studio box. So where I'm actually sitting right now is a box, and it is about 6 foot by 6 foot. The curtain right here is a soundproof door, which I'll show you in a second, and it's allowed me to kind of get really good, blocking of sound and better resonance in my microphone and stuff like that. So this space has been pretty good. I've tried different backdrops over the years. I had just a standard podcast backdrop, and what I found is when you light it, it's really hard to light properly. And I ended up kind of messing around with it a lot, and it looked lower value, and it didn't look as good. This is actually just barnwood. 3 boxes of it from Home Depot. It's like $35 a box, so around $100. I got the wall done, popped in with my nail gun. This light here, I wanted to still have my logo in here. This is pretty cool. I got it from Etsy. You can change colors with it. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. That was about $100, but once again, it kind of gives that nice accent light. All right, so I am going to detach the camera now. All right, so the camera is detached, and you can kind of see here. Whoa, you're in my room here. Now it doesn't light as well, but you can see that the walls here are actually covered in acoustic foam. There's about 150 panels all around this room. And then we have one light up there, angled down, just an LED light. Another light here, just angled down. And then behind me, there's a light behind me and down on my head. It's what's called a hair light, and it helps you to kind of light things better. All right, let's put this back. Now, I would like to get some softer lighting in here. This light is a little bit harsher as an LED light, but they come in pairs for about $60 each. So one I use in my office, one I use as the hair light, and there, because it actually adds depth to the photo. I'll turn the hair light off and you'll see. See, it actually really adds depth to the photo. Ideally, it should be a little bit higher above me, but since the ceiling is only right here, I'm stuck with what I'm stuck with. So that's really the best audio and video setup and recording setup that I've found, and the cheapest for, kind of the amount of stuff you're able to do for that. So if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you, hear about those questions. Let me just show you the webcam settings I mentioned. Let me just zoom out and show you one of the different setups here. So boom, you can see here, this is the curtain I was talking about. This is the foam I was talking about. There's the headlamp. This stand-up desk here, which you don't usually see, but sometimes I use, and you can see how low the ceiling is, why I mentioned that light can only be at a certain position there. But I've been able to do a lot of cool stuff with this. This setup is pretty affordable, and it's something that you can do yourself. If you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. I'm at Jeremy Ryan Slate, or check us out at commandyourbrand.com. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, share this video with your friends, and I hope you apply this information and do well this year. Happy 2023.